We've just finished 4 days in the Cape Wrath, and apart from today, first 3 very windy, so you're going to get wind noise on the videos, so please excuse the wind noise. I want you to get a real feel of the area, real feel of the conditions. Even though it's nice and hot and warm, there were horrific winds on the 3rd day. It wasn't too good on the 2nd. But beautiful weather, stay dry, very little midges. So again, please forgive the wind noise. Quarter to 12, had lunch, dogs have been fed, and we're setting off. It's dangerous around here. It's falling apart. Yeah. Right. Kitty. This way. Stella. This way. Booze. Calm down. You little monsters. They're excited. Goodbye, Lighthouse. Too windy. Come from there, and that's where we're going. We're going to cut across. Hopefully not too many peak troughs. Having a breather. We've got a few of these up and downs to do. We just come over that, down into the dip there. Don't know what that orange thing is. Probably target something, because we're in the firing range. We go over here, get a bearing, set the bearing, and just proceed to that point. And the easiest way, obviously, not taking it across peak roughs or swamp. Going here is not too bad, it's dry. I'm quite impressed. All these mounds in the video probably look really small. Trust me, they're not. Rebel, get up, you're picking ticks up again. 12:15, mate, good going there. I've come that way, missed them gruffs out. Rebel, get up. I can't go that way because there's a great big clough over this crest coming in from the sea, so I've got to kind of push to the left to cut out any problems. So I'm expecting anyway, otherwise if I try and go down the clough and back up, it'll be really hard work. If I can try and skirt around the edge, very tip, then we'll be fine. Very firm going here, really good. The rains haven't come here, or the winds have dried them out. Seas to our right. I'd like to stay further to the right, but I can't because of this clough. Right, let's see what we're going to find up here. See if my map reading's been good. There's the graph. I tried going down there, it's a steep drop and a steep up. Go around the edge here, it'll be less steep, easy to get up. Then I do a hard right and over the tops. And between them 2 mounds there, I don't know if you can see them. Basically, that's what I got to do, what we've got to do. Right, pushing on. That's where we come down over there. Right, imagine going up and down that. No, thank you. We just go over this lip here, we'll be back on track. Dogs had a drink, so they're happy. Another trail. I don't know what these trails are. Can't be deer. Can't be humans. So much for the coastal route. We got pushed in. We've got to go roughly in between that, I don't know if you see a dip, but you see that hillock or Munro or whatever in the distance. You see this bright risen hill there. We've got to go dead centre basically. When we go over the crest we should see Loch Cascade, and then we can take a bit and just aim for that. I wanted to go along that way a bit more, but we're getting pushed in by the gruff. So I've done about, God knows, 8 miles already, because it was 5 miles up to Lighthouse. So I don't want to be doing zigzags all the time. It's going to put our mileage up to stupid figures. So just aim straight line over them crests, and we should see it when we get to the highest point, Loch Cascade. Heading that way, in between them two, and over the tops. We will see that loch in the end, and that's where we come from, right in the far distance there. See that point? The lighthouse was up there somewhere. Don't look far, but trust me, there's a lot of dead ground in between there and here. It's like walking on a soggy mattress. Conditions are not too bad though. That cloud is blown over, and look, we're going to get some sunshine in a bit. I've been finding water for the dogs, so I've been taking it slow. Sometimes I'm taking a little detour where I can hear water running. Make sure they got water. But this is all uphill. Might not look steep, but trust me it is. Good fun though. I named this summit Little Rebel Summit, and look what he'll do. I guarantee. No? Alright. Thought he was going to do what he normally does. There you go. It was a little one. We're still going up this. Oh, it goes on forever. Strong winds. Look, Kesgate. We're following round. No, thought you were going to go in. There's the Bothy, what a sight. Straight line to it. Don't care if there's rivers or what, we're going straight across them. Well, we made it to Strathchailleach. I don't know if there's a name on here. No. They didn't put a name on it. That's stupid, isn't it? I think there was... No, it's brickwork, isn't it? You think they put a name on, wouldn't you? Loads of sheep all around us. They were in our front garden. I'm going to get a brew on in a minute. I just thought I'd show you around. Never in my time have I been so happy to see a Bothy at football. The winds are too strong to pitch. I mean, you can pitch out here, no problem. But the winds are crazy. Right, gotta get a brew on. I am thirsty. Rebel! Right, I can talk now. I've had a cup of coffee. Oh, I needed that. And someone left a lovely protein bar. I was inside, bit of dust on it. Here, you two. Don't want them out. There's sheep outside, so I've got to keep an eye. In you two. There was a protein bar on there. Bit of dust on. Check the back. December 21st, 2021. I was like, I'm having that. Because I'd run out of chocolate. I got a couple of protein bars for breakfast in my bag. But here you two. But boy, was it a lovely chocolate protein bar. Now I thought I'd show you around. Now I can talk. I've had a slight rest, but hey, these are a bit spooky, these pictures, aren't they? Don't like this room. This room feels a bit, I don't know, musty and dated. But hey, if you're out of rain, you know what I mean, you ain't going to complain. Oh, someone's fluffy bubble hat. Anyway, there's a tomato. I'm not a tomato person, so I might have to throw that because that will go off on it. I'll leave it to tomorrow, just in case someone else comes. They might want a tomato. There's dry peat outside for the winter, but we won't need that. I'll show you outside. There was a load of sheep when we approached. As soon as I saw the dogs, me and the dogs coming across from over there, they soon ran. Here's your river source. That's where the dry peat's normally stored for winter. There's still a bit of it there. I've never burnt dry peat, so I don't know what it's like. I guess it burns for ages and gets really hot. It's getting cooler now. It's 4:30, leave it 25 to. They see the football there. Someone's been playing football. Rebel! I lost my dog. Leave that alone. I came across over there, as I said, and I cut across the river and then came up this track here. But when you see it from this side, it looks like a shed with a chimney, doesn't it? But when you get inside, it's really cosy, it's really nice. And I don't feel I have any midge problem with this wind. There's plenty of pitching areas over there, you could pitch. And there's one small one here, you could pitch. And as I said, you've got plenty of water, ain't we? But a godsend. So what I'm doing is resting. I'm going to get some more water in a minute, so I don't have to do that, filter a lot of water, so I don't have to keep going to the river. Drying all the kit that was wet. Rebel, come on, in. Stop eating anything you shouldn't be. He's so soft. Open the door to let some air in, just to air the buffet. One thing I will say, this doorway is made for dwarfs, so I'm bound to clubber that, ain't I? Lie down, you two. So, how many miles did we do? Lie down. 13.7. And I'm telling you, over there. Oh, all right, you can stay there. 13.7. And I'm telling you, them last 4 or 5. Whew. That ground up there. First of all, the wind. The wind was 30, 35, probably gusting to 38 at times. It was in the high 30s. It was blowing me sideways. Then when I was walking into it, which I was for the last few miles, I wasn't going anywhere because the ground is like a giant sponge. It wasn't wet, it's all drying out. But the problem is, it's just like, it's like having springs on the bottom of your boot. You're just bouncing everywhere and you're not getting no traction. So you're walking forward, and honest, I swear I was going 1 step forward and 3 back. With the wind and that ground, it was just a terrible combination. Anyway, get to the perimeter fence of the range. And I'm thinking, right, got to get the pack off, Rebel. Get my pack off. So I get my pack off, put it on the other side, get the sticks over. And take the pack off him. And I look for a spongy bit on the fence where I can push the there's like a section of square mesh fencing. And then there's a barbed wire strand on the top. I guess that's to stop the animals jumping like sheep or something. But anyway, so I pushed down this corrugated square fencing down, which would allow them to get between the barbed wire strand at the top and that fencing. There was a bit where a post was broken, so I could easily push it down. And they were playing around. Rebel decided to jump and rest his 2 feet on the barbed wire fence. And he weren't jumping, he just reached out and put all his weight on the barbed wire fence. And meanwhile, I'm holding this square mesh fencing down. And I said to him, no, not there, over here. So with saying that, he stepped back. The barbed wire strand fence flew up in the air and struck me in the cheek. So I had 2 scratch marks on my cheek. So I got wounded because of Rebel. You see why I call him Rebel now. They got across that fencing. No problems. I was dabbing blood off my cheek for about half an hour. Really, I wasn't angry with him. Believe it or not, I didn't even lose. I just laughed because it just sums him up. You know, there I am pushing all the fencing down. He can easily get through the gap. And instead, he rests 2 paws, front paws, on the front fence. When I said, no, not there, he stepped back and the fire went because I had my head down, pushing this fence down. But anyway, so we get over the range and... it's just like I'm having to zigzag through all the marsh. It's just, that was marshy. Then I got to the lock, and as I said, the wind was blowing the lock. You could see the waves, and the noise was unbelievable. So I didn't even bother talking at the end. It was just getting so stupid. So we followed round from the lock, round some Monroe, and it just goes on forever. It just goes forever and ever. And the ground was a mixture of dry areas that were spongy, wet areas that were dying to sink your boots in, and marshy areas further on. And then you had the clumps. You had everything. It was just like, I swear I was doing it purposely just to kind of challenge you near the end. And I was looking at Stella and I thought 13.7 miles. Well, at the time it was 11 miles. I knew we were starting to get a bit too far for us. So I thought I've got to just make a beeline for the Bothy. So I see the roof and I go, all of a sudden your spirits pick up. And I'm getting towards the Bothy and then there's a gruff with a great big drop. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, you're doing this purpose. So I get down there and back up without breaking anything. Then I get on the top and it's again marsh. And then I get to this river and all I see is sheep everywhere and I'm laughing my head off. And, you know, I think I said out loud, what are sheep doing in my garden? But anyway, as soon as they saw the dogs, they scattered. But then we had to cross the river and there's a steep bank on the other side to get across. Managed to get down there, get across here. And as I was coming around the corner, I was going, please be open. Please be open. don't be locked, please, not like open buffet, because the winds are so strong out there. Setting the tent up, yeah, I can do it. But sitting in it while it's blown like crazy and trying to cook your food, and oh, it's just crazy, crazy, crazy it would be. And to be honest, I was that tired, I didn't want to do it. So got to the door and just one little bolt was holding it. I went, oh, thank God for that. And as soon as I got in, what a beautiful buffet. NBA, if you ever see my videos, this is what a buffet should be like. Pretty standard, pretty basic, clean, all the facilities you need. You know, nothing overdone. No extra stoves and extra fireplaces, because people just wreck them, you know what I mean? This is fine. In the winter, bring a good sleeping bag. You know what I mean? There's a little fire in there. But this is it. This is all you need. Basic, out of the way. And the good thing is, this buffet's, even though it's not too far from Sandwich Bay, it's tucked out of the way. And not a lot of people will want to go over the marshes. So, very happy to find this. Very happy to find it open. But my God, was that a trek? And before I go, as I say, what made it worse, when I set off from Curvaig this morning to the Lighthouse, which I had to do, I really had to get pictures, I'm glad I did. I didn't realise it was 5.2 or 5.7 miles because of the way the road weaves. You look at it on the map and it don't look too far, but you don't take in how the road zigzags. So that was a killer to start. And as you saw, we had lunch. I think it was about 11:30. I was having 11:15 having lunch. And then when I set off, it was just like, I wanted to stick to the coast, but as soon as the gruff pushed me, I mean, and that's a big, sorry, it's not a gruff, it's a clough. It's so steep on each side and it pushes you right far into the moorland, so that you have to go, I mean, you'd be stupid to go down the steep end and back up the steep end. I mean, it's just crazy work it'd be. So once I got pushed in, and then I realised we were getting extra mileage from being messed about all these things, I couldn't push back out because I'd only have to come back in again to go to this buffet. So sadly, I didn't do as much coastline as I wanted, but I did enough of sites, and I got some brilliant video. And the Lighthouse was the one I really wanted, because last time, as I say, I missed it. So I have done Dartmoor many a time. I have done Otterburn with the military. That's in Northumberland in the UK, many a time. I've done the Peak District with Bleaklow, many a time. And through Kinder Scout, through the moorland, many a time, in all weathers. But this Cape Wrath is the hardest one I've ever done, moorland-wise. If you want to test yourself, I'll tell you a way to do it, to test yourself at home. Get your boots, get your pack, put 8 pounds of weight strapped to each ankle, right? And then go hiking in the countryside somewhere, just normal fields. And do 13, 14 miles. And then tell me how you feel with a 40-pound bat. Well, luckily today I had a 30-pound bat, but just do it with a decent sized weight pack. After 14 miles, tell me how you feel. Because that is exactly what it's like walking on the Cape Wrath. It's just the moorland. It's just so giving. I reckon you sink about 2 inches when you're walking on everything. Even when it's dry, and it's very dry. And that's one last thing before I go. I came through, cut in, and in the end I was going more or less through the middle again. And last time I went there, it was really soaking and really bogging, really hard work. But this time it was dry. So the weather's been really dry up here, because last time, I think it was late summer I went, and you know, you would have thought through the summer it would have been drier, you know, after having a whole summer. This is early, and it's very dry. So if anyone's doing the Cape Wrath and they want to cut across, then you can do that. But again, if you go down to the range, and then cut down to that river, Curvaig, and then go up the track, it's much easier. So if anyone wants to do the Cape Wrath and do it easy way, just go to the perimeter fence, turn right, follow the line down, and then when you see the river, cut across along the river on the left-hand side of the bank, and you'll follow all the way up to where the range warden's huts are, where the bridge is. and then you can take the track all the way up to Lighthouse. It's 5 miles up that track, but trust me, it's 5 miles on a level track. But again, I was getting battered by winds up there. So it's up to you what you all do. I've done all 3. Well, 2.5. I've done the river twice now. I've done the middle part once, which was a killer. And I did a bit of the coastline and then cut back into the middle. But it's all up to you what you do. But I know which one I'd choose. If I was doing the Cape, after doing weeks and weeks on the Cape Raft, I'd do the river and cut up. It'd be much easier. And plus, you can take your time. And when you've got a track, you don't even have to navigate. What I was doing today is I was picking a point to go and navigate to, and that's fine. But then all of a sudden, I was hitting loads of swamp, and I had to kind of detour. And then you're losing your track point. You know what I mean? So you have to kind of pick out a point again, because it's all flat. So at the end of the day, you can't say, oh, look at that bush. There's no bush. So now I'm 61. If I was doing that 30s or 20s, I'd find that great fun because I'd be in my prime. But when you get in the later years, trust me, that hurts. Calves and hamstrings. Oh, I'm going to get some cramp tonight. I know that. But did I enjoy it? Absolutely. Would I come back here again? Yeah, in a few years' time. I've done this twice now, so give it a good break. I definitely wouldn't bring Stella anymore. I mean, she'll be getting older and older. It's just, that would be killer for her. She's probably on a limit today. She shouldn't have been doing that kind of mileage. That's my fault. I didn't plan to do that. It was just misguiding on that first bit up to the Lighthouse, but it's done. So we're going to have plenty of rest tonight. It's, as I say, about 5 o'clock. Tomorrow, we're not an early start. We're within striking distance of Sandwood Bay. I'll have a look at the map. We might cut across and see if we can cut out Sandwood Bay. It just counts if it's elevation. I've got to start reading these maps better. And I know what I'm doing in navigation. I've been doing it years, but I always forget to check my contour lines. And I see something. I go, oh, yeah, it's just up there. You don't realise how steep some of this land is. So as I say, I don't need to leave here till about 11 or 12. You know, so we can have a nice lie-in as long as no one turns up and they're moving about. But what happens, happens. Plate of room. Oh, one last thing. Someone left some slippers. And am I too proud to use them tonight? No, damn right. Taking these boots off and I'm going to put my feet in them slippers and I don't care what anyone thinks. So that's it for now. I've got to do some filtering the water and make sure I've got plenty of that, and then I don't have anything else to do except chill out and relax and enjoy the sights. Take some photos. Right, see you later. Or talk to you later. You may want to read this because this was a permanent dwelling for someone, and they said it's probably the last permanent dwelling that had no facilities and was in the remote area, and it was owned by a bloke called James McCroy Smith. He was known as Sandy. But when you read all the way through how he got his supplies and how far he walked, And sometimes he walked 21 miles round trip to get his supplies. Oh, in 1996 he moved to caravan accommodation. Wow. And then he sadly died in April 1999. He was 73 years old. Wow. He is supposed to be the ghost that's seen in the area. So I wonder if we'll feel him or see him or... And there he is going to the post office. Now it all makes sense. The pictures, and that was the gentleman concerned. Bless him. Imagine living out here without any electricity, no gas, no sewage services, no piped water, no postal service and no road. Not even a proper path to the door. It's unbelievable. And I'm moaning coming across that moorland. Bless him. So yeah, make good reading. If you pause it and then read it, I'm sure you enjoy it. That's what I got for pudding. Something to eat, freeze-dried custard with mixed fruits. Sounds lovely. I had chicken fajita and rice. Again, something to eat. I find their meals really, really good. I don't know what other people think, but yeah. Mountain house has always been my favourite, but as I say, very hard to get in this country now due to EU regulations and coming out of the EU, and I don't think they were not making enough profit in this country. Shame. Anyway, just fed the dogs. They're settled down, checked them for ticks. Still had one that was squashed. She must have lied on it or it hit something when it was on her. Hopefully it hasn't left anything nasty in her. Rebel didn't have any. I checked between the toes, under the tail. I run through the tail. Checked these, bits. Couldn't see anything around there. He's now cleaning himself and giving himself a good brush out. I'm sure there'll be one on them somewhere that I've missed. But after they get a bit thicker, I'll check when I get home. I mean, obviously I'll check them today. Can't check them when I get them to the car because obviously we'll be jumping in the car and getting on with the drive back. So I have to wait till I get home then. But I've checked tonight and there's nothing on them. Giving Stella every day she's had vitamin supplements, for her joints. It's got green lip mussels or something in it. And it's supposed to be good for, this is the seafood mussels, it's supposed to be good for the joints, and it seems to be working. She seems to be doing really, really well. She's stiff now, but I'll give her a magic aspirin and she'll be fine. I wanted to sleep over there with them, but I've got a funny feeling they're going to be lying on my feet. And imagine that at 3 in the morning, someone jumps on your feet. The Bothy book's up there, I've got to fill it in. It's been kept up to date. Last person was on the 2nd, but it seems to be visited very frequently. That's 2nd of June, by the way. It's now the 4th of June. But looking all the way back through the months, it's been nearly every other day. It's been someone here, and that's the people that have filled it in. So God knows how many other people haven't filled it in. One other thing, I found these slippers, didn't I? And I think I noted that bobble hat. Now Sandy used to wear a bobble hat. I'm hoping these slippers in that room that I remember. See, this is the funny thing about me. I won't go into things, but I have lived in haunted houses and houses with spirits and all that. And if you remember right on the video, before I knew anything about Sandy, I came in this came in this Bothy, went round to that little room when I was showing you around, and I said, I don't like the feel of this. It feels old and, dated and kind of gives off, And that was how I felt. So hence we came into this room and stayed in this room. But, isn't it weird that that's where the slippers were in that room? Now, are these Sandy slippers? If so, I could be in the bad books. And that is that bobble hat, Sandy's hat. Because this is always going to be Sandy's place, isn't it? And rightly so. If a bloke can live here for all them years and do trips to get provisions and supplies and God knows what else and medical care and everything, and trek through their moors, then if he's passed away, he still deserves to own this place in my books. You know what I mean? His spirit will always live here. But I'm going to wait. The sun's getting lower, so I'm trying to get some sunset pictures tonight if it's lucky. It's cooler, this Bothy, must admit. It's a bit of a, there's a draft somewhere. But I think also, because I've stopped hiking, after hiking most of the day, I think your body cools down, you start feeling cold. So I've had this on all afternoon since I've been here. So I still feel a bit chilly. I've had a look with my camera. Luckily, iPhones and things, you know, our smartphones come in handy. You can actually do the reverse camera and check to see your injuries. And it's only 2 little nicks on my cheek, so that's fine. That I'm talking about the barbed wire incident with Monster there. So they're not really tick magnets today, which is really amazing. We go through all that moorland all day and they didn't pick a tick up. They must have picked them and they must have dropped off. I'll check my legs. That explains why we had so many ticks in, I know, you know, I'm sorry, I'm rambling again, but remember when I was in Lochmore a couple of weeks back and we pitched and then the monsoon conditions come and I had ticks running in up my sleeping bag and everything. And I remember as I got there, I saw these holes and divots and I thought, oh, it can't be deer doing it. I guess it was deer grazing there and digging and messing about. So obviously the ticks come off the deer, don't they? And it's the same at Curvegg. As you saw last night, about 11:15, loads of deer around there, and they hanged around there because when I woke up at 1:30, there were even more deer around there. I just didn't bring the phone because I didn't expect them to be out there. So hence again, that's why I'm walking through the grass with bare feet, and hence why I picked a tick up. So it happens. Something you got to be aware. Some little creature like that can cause so many problems for us humans, and probably for dogs as well, and they can get ill. So anyway, enough rambling. I'm going to have my pudding and see if I can get some photos in a bit. And give Stella a magic aspirin. And then, I don't know, I might have to sleep here because I want to sleep with them. I might sleep with them. I just, at the moment they stay there, but as soon as I sleep over there, they'll lie on my legs, I know it. And the last thing I want is them, one of them jumping on my legs at night. It'll spook me, God knows what. I think it's Sandy come to get me for his slippers. Sorry, Sandy, I'm only joking. God knows. I mean, there's been a spirit, as I said, I was reading on that thing. I heard about it. I think I told you again when I first got here and I was pitched at Sandywood Bay. There is supposed to be ghostly sightings around that Sandywood Bay. So, I don't know. As I say, I have lived in a haunted house. I have had experiences which maybe I'll talk about around a campfire one day or something. But I definitely do believe, because I've definitely seen them. But so many stories and not enough time to tell them. Right, I shall go and have pudding. Right, but don't clean your sleeping bag. He makes it wet again. That's what he did when he was in Lochmore. Idiot. I've told him off 100 times today, but I tell you what 2 beautiful dogs. Stella, 11 years old, and can hike them distances and never moaned once. I only knew she was getting tired near the end when I stopped and she would lie down. But she never complained, always looking for mice in the field. She spent most of the time with her head looking down with her ears up. Rebel hiked with that pack. Luckily, it wasn't too heavy one today on the way back. But again, never wanted to stop, always wanted to go. But look at them, they're both worn out. Beautiful dogs. So you might hear me moan at them and laugh and curse them a couple of times, but I love them to bits. Right, gonna have pudding before I get all soppy. Pudding time. I'm waiting to do a sunset. If you look there and there, we've got definite rain coming in. How much? I don't know. A storm, definitely. Yeah, on this side, look. This is what happens in these places. If you're not careful and you're on the highs, you'll be looking over there and you'll be enjoying the scenery and the sea or views or whatever. And then all of a sudden you'll look behind you and you'll see a mass. This is not dark. I mean, some of it gets really dark when it comes in. But it's still threatening. But again, it's coming across. So if that's true, we were getting that bit, but you don't know how much is coming around there. But I'm waiting, I'm just hanging out, just waiting to take the sunset photos, but I don't think I'm going to get them. Look how high the sun is, it's still got to come down a bit. And what time is it? 8:10, so I'm guessing sunset's about 9:30, something like that. And that would probably be upon us, but as I say, it's going across. So it's not coming at us, thank God. These sheep keep sneaking up on us. So I bring the dogs out just to put them here so that the sheep see them and then they all run off. Because the last thing I want to do is let my dogs out and there's some sheep around the corner or something like that and I don't see it, you know what I mean? I don't want them chasing sheep. They won't, but when you've got sheep all round, you know, it's going to be hard for the dogs to resist it. Because they were all round here earlier. Hence, look, we've got all the remains. But I do feel as though, I mean, the forecast is for tomorrow, start off dry, overcast, by afternoon showers. So I haven't had an updated one, so that's what I'm expecting. So I'm preparing. That's why I want to leave about 11, 12. Yes, I might get caught by a little bit at the end when I'm near Blairmore, but at least, you know what I mean, I've not been out over that. Now if I'd stopped another day at Kirkpaig or stopped somewhere else and pitched near the Lighthouse or something like that, I'd be coming across them moors in heavy rain and that's not fun. Took loads of photos, had my pud, dogs are resting, gotta give Stella aspirin instead. Give them some extra treats, they've done really well. So I even carry treats for them. How stupid am I? Must be mad, extra weight. Look at the sheep, look. I don't know if you can see her. What are you doing on my turf? They keep sneaking up. I look out the window, they get closer and closer and closer. I mean, look at these. Must be something they like around here, the grass or something. I don't know, look, it's coming, but it counts how big it is. I think we'll get some rain tonight. I'll be very surprised. Right, gonna have another coffee and wait for the sunset if we get it. It'd be nice to get some sun going down and the colours, but I might be getting them colours instead. Right, I might show you later with a bit of luck. Got my kit all over there. Got my bed down there. I wanted to go with the dogs. Lie down. I'm sitting with the dogs instead. Lie down, you. Lie down. Relax. You're worn out. I put a foam mat. It was in the other room underneath. So it won't make it dirty, but it'll give them some extra padding for Stella. No rain yet. It skirted us. It got bright in the end. Right. I forgot something to tell you something today. It's so funny. So, as you know, I went up to Lighthouse. And I was following that track up, and just before you get to the stone gates with no actually gating, it's just like pillars and a wall. Just before I got there, a minibus passed us, obviously bringing people up to see the lighthouse and how they have a gander around or whatever. And believe it or not, they only stay an hour. I don't know what you can do. They go to the cafe, they go for a couple of little walks, and then the best thing is the bloke that calls them back, he blows a bugle and he sounds like a military trumpeter. He plays some good sounds on that bugle to call them, so they can't say they didn't hear. But anyway, jumping the gun, before I arrive at these stone gates, this minibus is passing, and I have to get my dogs out of the way because all of a sudden it just appeared, because the wind's so strong I didn't even hear it, and you don't expect a vehicle on that track. I did know the minibus goes up and down twice a day or whatever, but I didn't know when, so it was totally out of my mind. So I get the dogs out of the way and the minibus slows down. The guy looks out and there's these people inside, they're all looking out. So they go up. I thought, God, look at the state of me when I turn up there, because I wasn't expecting anyone to be at the Lighthouse, except probably the owner and maybe someone that runs that cafe there. Maybe it's his wife, I don't know. But so there's a group of people come out of the minibus as I'm walking through the gates. I thought, the dogs look filthy. I've got a shirt that's 3 days old. It's got stains on it. I've got detail running down my chin, and I've got suntan cream matted in the hair that I got left on my head, and I must smell like a skunk. You know, typical grubby hiker. You know what I mean? So I walk up to the cafe, and people are looking at me, and I didn't realise who they were. I thought they'd be like everyday people, you know, like me, hikers, but then it seems they were tourists because they were speaking different languages. I didn't understand a word they're saying. And there were some British people, I would say, I don't know what they were. And they got the typical day hiking look, you know what I mean? They got the sun hat, the glasses, the chino trousers or whatever, they khaki trousers were, little day sacks. And they got cameras and they're looking at me like I'm some, I don't know, some soldier that's returned from war. The looks they all gave me, honestly, it wasn't imagination. They all stared at me because I've got this pack on. I've got dogs with one dog with a pack, another one. I'm telling them what to do. And I swear they were tempted to take photos of me. They all had these cameras, big cameras hanging around their necks, and some of them went to a building up on a hill. I don't know what it was, a big square building. I didn't have the time to have a look or ask anyone. So I went into the cafe and there's a woman in there, and I waited and I thought, you know, this is going to take forever. I've got to move on. I've got to have lunch and move on. So I just popped my head through the hatch and I said, is there any chance of any water? Or can you fill us, you know, I gave her the Nalgene bottle and said, is there any bowl for dogs? And she said, point to the bowl, and she says, that's for dogs. So I was fine, brilliant. And I didn't realise they don't get no, I didn't think again, they don't get no pipe work up there. So they have to have all the water brought up to them. So that's unbelievable, isn't it? So, you know, it's not like asking for water in a normal place where someone can just turn the tap and fill it. I'm asking for their water that they run the cafe with and all that, but she was fine. So I sat outside, even though it was windy, I sat outside, ran a corner. I sat on an old car tyre because there was no seating or anything. And there I am, setting up the dog's dinner, getting my stove going, cooking my dehydrated meal. And again, these people that were all tourists kept going by and looking. I felt like I was like come from Mars. But I don't blame them, because they must have gone, God, you know, he's high, because they'd seen me going up the track, so they knew I hadn't come by vehicle or anything. And you know, it was just so funny. It was like, you could imagine their voices in the head saying, look, this is a real hiker. This is a UK hiker. And the impression I must have given them. I was sweaty, I was worn out, because it was all uphill and it was strong winds, and I don't know what I look like. I'm unshaven, I haven't shaved for three days, probably near 4 now. I must have had stuck insects in my face and all. So it's so funny. Anyway, he calls the bugle. They all pile in the minibus. I did manage to talk to a couple. Lie down, lie down. I think they were an English couple, and they'd been up here hiking, and they'd come across the moorland on a coastal route, and I think they'd done a section of the Scottish Trail. It wasn't the Cape Wrath Trail, it was another section they were doing. I can't remember what they did tell me, but they had big packs, and they were telling me how boggy it was and all that, and yet they said the same, it's very dry. So the minibus goes, and as you'll see in the video, I've had my dinner, dogs have had a good rest, you know what I mean, we've had nearly an hour So I'm walking out and I'm chatting to the video, and as I turn around, the woman comes out the cab and she waves, she say goodbye. They must see every kind of hiker you can think of, that cafe must. So it doesn't even make them flinch, you know. But the people in the minibus, I mean, as I say, I think some were speaking Spanish or Portuguese, something like that. Some I can't remember what it was. It was not French, was not German. I know all them languages. Enough for you. Hey, enough. Don't be fighting. But the impression I gave, I think I've served you well. Well, we have served you well. You know what I mean? So we've kept up the good UK hiker, you know what I mean, profile. They'll go back and tell everyone they saw this grubby, bald-headed, unshaven, sweat-stained shirt, you know. And boy, did he smell this UK hiker. So it was just so funny. And if you could read the minds, I was hearing all kinds of things being said. And it wasn't, you know, it was nothing that was in bad feeling or anything like that. It's just I looked at their faces and they were just staring at me. A lot of them wanted to ask things. I know they did, because they kept going by me and looking. And you could almost see they were trying to break, but because the dogs were near me, they weren't too sure about the dogs. Because every time the rebel would stand up, they'd kind of walk away a bit. So I don't blame them for that, no, because the dogs are big. But I know they were desperate to ask things. But it was so funny. But I couldn't say anything when I was there because, one, it was too windy, and two, you know, the woman came out and there was other things going on. But going back to the lighthouse, yeah, beautiful, absolutely beautiful lighthouse. But disappointment. There's pipe work down, there's bags of gravel down, there's all kinds of mesh up, and it looks like a building site, you know what I mean? I think they're just collecting everything there throughout the year. But it was a shame because I'm trying to take photos of the whole area there. And when I'm taking photos, I've got pipe work and everything there. So I had to zoom in on some of the photos just to the actual lighthouse. But the lighthouse was beautiful. Didn't get to look too near the edges, you know, because there's everywhere you looked, it was warning signs up. Danger of the wall falling. Danger of the building falling. It looked like it needed a bit of work, you know what I mean, or they were just going to let some areas fall down. There was even outbuildings that, you know, could be used, but they were absolutely caving in. So it was a weird impression, but I'm glad I walked through them stone gates, because as I said earlier, I've seen so many people finishing the Cape Wrath Trail walking up to that lighthouse through them gates, and now I can picture in my mind what they're feeling when I watch some of their videos on YouTube, and I can relate to it now, you know what I mean? But yeah, I had some good laughs today. As I say, no accidents, no trips, no falls, never even put my foot in the bog really bad, you know. The worst one was Rebel twagging me with a barbed wire, so good. That's a good result, and the dogs never got any injuries, which is also good. One last thing, I never thought, because we got these hot temperatures and we got sand and we got grass areas and all that. I don't know if they have adders up here, because, you know what I mean? I'm always walking and I'm always worried about the dogs running through the grass, because, I mean, I've got some antihistamine that'll stop the dogs going in shock. But if I was up here in the moorland and there is adders, I don't know if there is, then I'd panic, you know what I mean, if I got bit, because I can give them antihistamine and stop them reacting. But it's a long way to carry a dog if a dog's collapsed or dog's in agony or something like that, or it's having a reaction. So, yeah, I don't know. I have to do some research and find out if there's any adders up here. I would guess there is, especially near Sandwood Bay in the sands, because they'll come out when the temperatures are hot. They'll come out and bask. Right, I'm just waiting for sunset now whilst my two dogs act like idiots. You wouldn't, look, Stella is tired. Rebel, don't go too far, but Stella's tired. There's a 3-year-old, well, 3.5-year-old bossing a 11-year-old. Look at him. She'll snap at him. She'll take so much, but she'll tell him off. She's absolutely worn out. I've given her aspirin. I was watching when she was getting up and down this. This is not too high, this one, thank God. But she was very stiff. And I don't blame her for being stiff for the mileage. Right, I'm going to try and grab some photos of sunset. There you go. Sun setting over the hills there. And the midges are coming out. So I'm going to have to go. or get eaten alive. Beautiful sight now. She's about gone.